On today's show, we'll be talking a little bit about Anthony Davis changing the narrative around himself and the Mavericks picking a direction. Do you guys think the Mavericks should tank, or do you guys think they should go for the playoffs? You guys will get my input today coming up on Bucket Talk.
What's going on, guys? The momentum is starting to shift in Dallas. For the first time after the Luka Doncic trade, it finally feels like the Mavericks are the Mavericks again, which is kind of odd to say because the landscape of this team has changed so much. I went to the game against the Hawks on April 2nd, and it finally felt like Mavericks were playing for the fans again, and the fans really supported this team. This was a gritty win off of an Anthony Davis buzzer beater. It was a great game to go to. The crowd, this is the first time I felt like the crowd was really into the game ever since Luka Doncic left. There was no fire Nico chants, no booing the ownership or the Adelson family when they walked by. It felt like a normal Mavericks game. And that being said, Anthony Davis got hurt in this game, and he changed the narrative of being Anthony Davis, being always injured, always down Davis, and he came back into this game and led the Mavericks to victory. He had 34 points and 15 rebounds with the game-winning block and the game-winning shot. And he just played amazing basketball. It was a pleasure to watch. It was actually incredible. And this team really did play a really gritty game on that April 2nd day. Spencer Dinwiddie, he played a fine game, but what I've been noticing is in the clutch, he's been trying to be the guy whenever it's not his team to take leadership of or his place to go get put all these shots up. In the last 2 minutes of the game, he had 5 straight possessions, and it was bad shot after bad shot, and then turnover, bad shot again. And it was like Mavericks were up maybe 7 points with 2 minutes left, and they blew the lead and they were down. So it took a miraculous Anthony Davis floater to win the game whenever it really should have been a much easier win, but at least we did escape with the win this day. That being said, the Mavericks are in a bit of a confusing spot because if you think about it, we really shouldn't be trying to win right now with Kyrie Irving being injured. We had the worst team record over the last 10 games. The whole team is just injured. So the Mavericks aren't in a great spot to be trying to win right now. Even though they're getting a lot of their people back, they still won't have their star players back in time to go make a really promising playoff push or something that's worth hanging their hats on at the end of the season to say this trade was worth it. So I think they need to pick a direction. Right now, they're in the middle. They're winning games and they're losing games. They're a 500 team again. Against the Hawks, you went all out, played everyone full minutes. And then in this 2-game series against the Clippers, you're resting everyone, and it's like you're trying to tank. And then I can guarantee you against the Lakers, they're going to put out their best lineup because it's Luka's return game. So I'm just really confused by this approach. And I want to get your guys' thought in the comments on what the Mavericks should do. Because personally, I think they should hang their hats up on the season and just try and look forward to the draft. Because I feel like next season, that'll help them more become a successful team. This team is missing a couple pieces. So I think getting a player from the draft, especially with this really good draft class coming up, could help a lot. So I don't know. It seems like the Mavericks want to go win, even though they're resting Anthony Davis and others. I understand it because of his injury history, but it's like if you want to go win, you got to go win now. You got to go compete for this play-in. So we'll see what direction that goes in. Speaking of the draft, a couple interesting draft targets. So the Mavericks really right now, since they're winning, they're screwing up their odds at the best shots at the lottery. So the slip in the draft position might not get us as good of a player, especially those first couple of months of the season are going to be particularly hard with Kyrie Irving out. So I think the Mavericks should target a guard such as Igor Demon who can play make and create for others. But right now it looks like we're going to be out of that range where we can get Igor Demon or a guard like that. Dylan Harper would be crazy, but that just not realistic. But if the Mavericks could get a creative guard, that would be really nice. But besides, outside of the top 10, I don't see a lot of talent in that department. So I think the Mavericks need to focus more on either double down on the size thing they have going with their triple entente with the bigs or, get some more guard play in there, like I said. So, and also shooting is always a good thing for the Mavericks to have. They're a very spaced out team. Anthony Davis has even been developing his jumper better in Dallas. So on that note, another player that would fit this mold of a shooter for Dallas in college right now from UConn is Liam McNeely. So we've talked about him before, and he's a very good player. He averaged about 15 points this year. He played very good in the tournament, but UConn got knocked out very early, unfortunately. But as a freshman,
he's been trusted a lot in Dan Hurley's system, which is not something you see very often. So that gives me hope that he has lots of talent, and he's also a very disciplined player. A lot of the time, these freshmen out of college, there's an adapting period where it's like the first couple months in the NBA, like they're getting their feet wet, they're getting running. I feel like the adjustment period with McNeely would be much severely less to other players. And whenever you're trying to be a competing team like the Mavericks, that's something that's really necessary, because in the NBA, every single game matters. Even though there's 82 of them, every single game determines the standings, and that's why the games at the end of the season are so important, because some teams slack off at the beginning to make up some ground at the end. So I feel like that would be a great fit. Also, Derek Queen is another player I like. The only thing I'm a little iffy on with him is I feel like he's very streaky. So I feel like the Mavericks right now are a very streaky team. So I think right now all you need is consistency. So I don't think that'd be a great option, even though he's a very talented player. I would love like some of the top dogs, like Trey Johnson. He went to school in Dallas. Like that'd be awesome. He's a great scorer. He'd help us a lot with Kyrie out. Probably have to go trade up to get that pick. Dylan Harper would be awesome. That's just unrealistic. So some players like that, even Jeremiah Fears would be really nice for the Mavericks to get. If Javian Lee enters the draft, that'd also be another name to watch out for, maybe in the second round potentially. So we'll see. I think Lee might be entering the transfer portal and going for another year of college eligibility. So we'll see on that front. So let's talk about Anthony Davis. So I know it's an adjusting period for us Mavs fans right now, and it feels a little weird to see Anthony Davis in a Mavericks uniform still, but he's been playing pretty dang good. He's been playing pretty dang good. To be honest, it feels like he wants to be here, and I feel like as fans, we need to start embracing that. Even though Luka Doncic was probably one of the best players in our franchise history and will always be, he's not going to come back, and the past is the past, and it's time to embrace the future. Even though it might not have been the best move for the franchise, it's time to embrace the future as fans and support this team we got. Because I think the negative energy from the fans does affect the players more than people think, and it's starting to show in the post game. Like everyone is so down all the time. PJ is telling the fans to shut up. Like I think we just need to stop the complaining as fans and just embrace this new team. And that's why I love to go into the game against the Hawks. It's the first time I felt like going to a game in a long time, and there was something in the building that day that finally felt like the Mavs were back. You know, we were competitive again. And like I said, I don't think we'll do anything this year just because of the injuries and all of that kind of stuff. But I think we have a really solid shot at next year once everyone gets healthy. Nico Harrison has very quietly built one of the tallest and most giant teams in the NBA. You have 3 very skilled 7-footers, and you play 2 of them next to each other. The defense on this team will be amazing. It'll probably be the best defense in the NBA. Nobody will be able to score. The switchability is amazing. The guards defense is very underrated and good. Kyrie is a very good defender, even though he's very small. He's a very scrawny defender. So these other teams can't take advantage of your bigs on the pick and roll because of how athletic and skilled they are. So the defense does win championships. And I see the vision with this move. So I think this could end up working for the Mavericks in the short term. I think that the Mavericks, they really do have something on the defensive end going. However, I think we need to focus more on the offensive end, which is something I haven't said ever with the Mavericks. It's always been defense, 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 defense. But now with Luka gone, we need a creator. I think we need to see Anthony Davis take over that 1A spot. And I think Kyrie needs to be Robin again. I don't think Kyrie needs to be Batman. I think Kyrie needs to be the Robin to 80s Batman. That being said, I think another creator is vital, and I think maybe in free agency they'll go out and look for one. So a couple options I have floating in my head is someone like maybe like a Gabe Vincent, go out and trade for him. Even though at the start of the year he was struggling, he's really picked it up. You know, maybe double down on the size. I know I'm talking about the Lakers. Maybe Jared Vanderbilt becomes available. You go get him. He's been injured. Also, maybe go around some shopping teams like the Brooklyn Nets, you know, try and get a couple of their pieces. They have some really good players, really young players. You know, I think also this offseason, bench scoring will be something that's highly coveted for the Mavericks. And a name I've heard floated around is Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson's a great scorer, and that's really all you need him for. The thing is, I think it would be interesting if the Mavericks do get him to see how the rotations do play out. Because I don't think you can play Jordan Clarkson next to any of these guys in our starting lineup just because of how many shots he does take and the defensive liability quite is, to be frank. I think he'd be a great ad, but you'd have to be very careful the way you play him. That being said, if we do get someone like Jordan Clarkson, some names to watch out for that might be on the trade block, maybe Jaden Hardy. I know I hate Spencer Dinwiddie, but I hate the strong word. I don't like Spencer Dinwiddie, but he might be gone. And I think maybe Brandon Williams even takes that spot next year. He's out of games on a 2-way contract now, but he's been playing really well, and I think he could have some really nice games and string together a rotation role next year for the Mavericks. So that'd be really interesting to see how that plays out. I think the Mavericks just need to jump ship for this year and just focus on next year for now, but we'll see how the season plays out now. We have about 8 more games left, and I'll be going to the Lakers game, so I'll give you guys post-game comments on that. It'll be really hard to see my favorite player in another jersey, but that's just the nature of the NBA at the end of the day. It is a business, and I think Mavericks fans, we need to look forward into the future and look at the future Nico has built for us. Even though we gave away our future, we still have a very bright future, and we have a great chance at winning next year. And if we do decide to make some noise in the playoff this year, I don't think we'll do anything, but we have a great chance next year, and I think we could be very competitive and fun to watch a team. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching Bucket Talk. See you guys in the next video.
Earlier this year. Can they hang on and bring this one over the finish line? Into Young. Young with the ball. Young, the step back.